talked about spirituality and everything else. Well, not everything else, but my past couple of years. But I didn't talk about what got me put onto that. And it was when I was in TDC, and they came out with this thing called a religious beard pass. I was like, cool. I'll go for a few days without shaving. Works for me. They give you some nasty ass razors in there, man. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, what am I gonna write the chaplain? And how am I gonna get this pass? And I'm looking around. You got these guys doing the whole Christian this, Christian that, and I was like, no, that's too fake. I ain't gonna lie like that. And so I'm looking through everything and thinking about shit. And I was like, man, yogi, that sounds cool. I want to be a Yogi Bear. So, all right, that's what I wrote down. Well, my mom sent me some books. It was one of them was what was it? Yoga for Dummies. That's right. And I started reading a little bit about learning about meditation and about how to do yoga and whatnot. And then it went from there. I went to the library and I got this book called Autobiography of a Yogi. Man, that thing was life changing. And I went from there to where I started looking into Buddhism, Hinduism, you know, uh, what is it? Mm, the one that does the yin yang. I can't even think of it right now. I had a brain fart. Chi Chung, something. Anyway, I'm not gonna destroy the fucking word or the name of it because anyway. It's a philosophy theory. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I'm sitting there reading all these books and studying all this stuff, and I'm like, man, this is all real good stuff. But then I knew that if I didn't implement any of this stuff into my life, then it's not going to mean anything. So, I didn't try to like just instantly change and start living by everything all at once. I took, what I liked out of Buddhism. I love Buddhist story. You guys should check it out. But I took that. I learned that yoga was the exercise from the Hindu warrior caste. And I started looking into that. And the main thing that stuck with me was not hating anything for its nature. And so over time, it got to where, like, when I was going from the trustee camp over to the education building over at Beetle Unit, would sit there at the front gate during count time in the morning, and like mosquitoes would land on my arms, and I wouldn't swat them. And that was how I began practicing, you know, not doing any harm, walking in, presence, and being mindful, staying in the moment, all that stuff, and controlling my emotions was well, controlling my emotions at first. Try to be a Buddhist in prison. Boy, I tell you what, it's tough. It is tough. You still have to let a motherfucker know I'll beat your ass, bitch. But anyway, that's ooh. They got pretty cool with it after they saw I was serious about it. But when at first, man, I caught hell, pure hell, especially doing all them stretches. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I won't kill these mosquitoes, and these guys are messing with me. Telling me, why won't you kill it? What's the problem with that? And I'm trying to explain to them it's not about the mosquito, and it's not about me being, that I could kill it like nothing. It's about letting it. That's what its purpose is. They fly around sucking blood. I mean, I can't be mad. It's something for its purpose, and that taught me a whole lot about other people and whatnot, and it got me through some really hard times in there because if you've ever been locked up, then you know that there's people in there that will try you to your end and have you think it's pretty dark things. But it got me through that. And then when I got out, I was living by those theories, and then about a year into it, I let it all go, and got on a path I shouldn't have been on. And thankfully, I got pulled over one night, and this cop sat there and talked to me for about 30 minutes. And I know what they were doing. They were trying to make it look like I was snitching. So this dude that was fucking going to jail would be like, oh, he snitched on me, and go back and tell everybody else that. But either way, just talking to me, we weren't talking about shit but the weather and fucking cars and stuff, and just normal. But doing that, it kind of snapped me out of things, man. It helped me out a lot. And it could have went the other way. I could have went to jail, and it could have kept my life in that same little spiral. But they didn't. I don't know why, but they didn't. And I'm super grateful to this day for that because that straightened me out on so much bullshit. And, here I am, like, these past few months I was down, like when I came to stay over here with my friend's house, everybody started kicking me when I was down, like they saw me down and they started laughing and joking and pointing at me. And I think there was some other stuff going on. I still have to get to the bottom of it, but Like everybody was just beating the shit out of me. And I thought that's just the way it's always been, so that's the way it's gonna be. And I dealt with it, turtled up and shut all them out, cleaned my mind up and got everything right. And now I'm looking back at it. And one thing that I've done recently is I've started loving myself enough to put a stop to anything that don't work for me. I mean, people, situations, anything, I'm done with it. I mean, even tonight I'm debating the question, why am I here? Maybe tomorrow I'll send a video walking up the road. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Just depends on what God tells me. Because he's going to let me roll it around in my head for a while and then he's going to give me the answer. That's the way he is. He'll let you beat yourself to death with your thoughts. And then he'll give you everything you need. You just got to be ready to receive it. And that is what I absolutely know to be for fact. But but that's how I got on this path. And I'm into demonology. I'm into Elder Futhark. I love the runes. I love power runes. I'm real into magic and all kinds of stuff. And that shit is real, man. It works. Now you're probably sitting here laughing, you fucking idiot. Well, you wouldn't be laughing if you were me and you'd seen the things that I've seen. You could do the things that I can do. It's pretty amazing. But it all comes from up here. You have to get in there and you have to clean it out. And you have to be willing to make your best friends with your darkest parts. The parts that you're ashamed of, the parts that you don't want nobody knowing. You have to get in there, give it a big old hug, say, I love you, man, and bring it to the light. I mean, you don't have to tell everybody or none of that shit. No, that's not necessary. But you have to love all of you in order to be able to truly love anything else. And when people talk about balance or people talk about, being separated from stuff, it's not about not feeling anything, because I look like I have almost no emotion all the time. However, I feel things so strongly. I just do not let the emotion control me, because it comes back to the thing where I was asked by one guy, do you want to act or do you want to react? Once you start acting instead of reacting to the world, then your story changes and things change. Not instantly, but everything around you starts changing. And as soon as you start to act instead of react, the world tries to hit you real hard because it don't want somebody on their own. They don't like that. They don't want anybody who's going to question everything, do what they don't want. They'll try to hit you real hard. You just take it, smile, keep on moving. That's all I got for today. Bye.